Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Round of 24. This is the last week of the Round of 24, and with me is a very special guest commentator. Everybody, I present SpongeBob SquarePants.
Hey, ladies and jellyfish.
Oh, it is good to have you with us, SpongeBob. Now, of course, my usual co-commentators, Elegant and Keontae, couldn't be here today, which is why we have our special guest, of course. I don't actually know what they're doing. I think Elegant's off being James Bond or something, and Keontae's doing whatever Australians do. Anyway, yeah, so SpongeBob, I know you've been a long-time fan of Brood War, but I believe this is your first time commentating, so how does it feel?
I can't believe this is really happening. Today, I start living!
Wow, I did not realize this meant that much to you. Alright, well, I'm glad you could join us. I think you're in for a real treat today because we have some pretty epic groups. So if we look at the first group here, we have, on the screen, eOnzErG, Pike, DeWalt, and VOD Toast. Now, if you looked at the preview post on Team Liquid, it did show 3 Zergs, but of course VOD Toast is in fact a race picker. He plays PvZ instead of ZvZ, so hopefully not going to have too many Zerg versus Zergs, depending of course on how the matchups go and who wins what. Yeah, so it's a very exciting group. I saw some people actually calling it the group of death already, just because it's one of the few groups where everyone in fact has a picture, has an awesome TLPD entry. So expecting some great things from this group. What do you think, SpongeBob?
This is gonna be the coolest party ever!
I think it totally is, and especially this first match, eOnzErG versus Pike. I mean, eOnzErG right now is on fire. I don't know what happened to this guy, because like 6 months ago, I didn't think he was anything like super special. Like, he was pretty good, but not in the top tier of players. But in the last 6 months or something, he is like really shaped up. He's been, you know, winning tournaments left and right. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the Defiler tournaments, for example, he's had a top 3 finish in the last 3 tournaments, right? He got, I think, 2 seconds and a third or something. He didn't actually win any of them, but I mean, getting top 3 is a pretty crazy accomplishment. And he won a Defiler tour like a few months ago as well. So yeah, really crazy stuff from him. And I think in the staff picks he got like 9 votes or something, so most of the staff picked him to advance. Pike, on the other hand, I was the only one who picked him. I don't know what's going on here, because Pike is an amazing player. He's a Polish Zerg, he's on LRM. You know, he's a mainstay in team leagues, like in Nation Wars and Gambits Cup and stuff. And for some reason, like, none of the other staff picked him, so that was really surprising to me. But that's okay, because that will just make me look smart when he gets out of the group. Now, Pike, by the way, has been around for quite a while here. If you look on his Wikipedia page, he actually got 3rd place in WCG 2010, so yeah, he's been good for a really long time. I saw some posts, actually, like in the live report thread and stuff from some older school players who were like, wow, you know, how come nobody's picking Pike to get out of this group? That's pretty surprising. But anyway, enough of the analysis. I think everybody is just excited to get into the game. So, without further ado, let us go into eOnzErG versus Pike. SpongeBob, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Alright then, let's do it. Game number 1, eOnzErG versus Pike in Group E. Alright, and here we are in game number 1 at the top left. As the white Zerg, we have LRM Pike, and his opponent at the bottom right, the yellow Zerg, Ifu's eOnzErG. Now the map is Ground Zero, of course. For anyone who's watched the last couple of weeks of Round of 24, the map order is the same. It's going to be Ground Zero first, and then Sniper Ridge for the winners and losers match, and Fighting Spirit for the final match. Now, I do have a bit of confession. I have actually been doing some studying up, some brushing up on my ZVZ. Because of course, my ZVZ knowledge is not great. I am a Protoss player, and I wasn't the hugest fan of this matchup. But you know what I did? I went back and I watched the Day 9 Daily number 10, that's right, one of his super old dailies where he did an analysis of the, I think it was it MSL finals between Calm and Quanro? It was some finals, a best of 5 ZVZ series between Calm and Quanro. And after watching that, I started to accept this matchup. You know, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad. Hey, it looks like we actually have a 9 pull straight off the bat from both players. Very, very interesting. Both players going for the aggressive strats here. They have a cross map, so not going to find each other straight away. Interestingly, what this will probably mean is that they'll send. Okay, so the Overlord scouts are going to go scout out one corner, and then they won't. So they're not going to see each other. They won't know exactly where they spawn, but they'll probably send all of the links cross map, or something like 5 links cross map, and then 1 link just to check the top right, or something like that. That's usually where we see the links go, I think, in a 9 pool. Just for various reasons. I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, I guess, you know, it's better if you send them cross map and then like the 1 link sees your opponent at the top right, you can change direction part way or something. But either way, it's still a bit of a guessing game. Anyway, both of them presumably are going to be making 6 Chogalings here. Indeed they are. And I'll be interested to see, are they both going to go for speed first? Yes, indeed they are. So, 9 pull speed from both players, and this is probably the most interesting kind of ZVZ, where you do have the mirror builds, so you know you don't get any kind of silly build order wins or even build order advantages, which in ZVZ are pretty severe, given how short the games usually go and how kind of low eco they stay. Very few opportunities to catch up from behind. And it looks like we are going to have the lane engagement in the middle of the map. Excuse me. Both players going cross map, as I said, and it looks like it's going to be an even exchange here. 4 for 4 on both sides. It looks like the last 2 were about the same. So neither player really getting the better of that engagement, and both players, as you can see, have gone for their lair. It looks like eOnzErG's lair is a touch ahead here. But I don't think that'll make a tremendous amount of difference. Now, both of them, of course, should know that they are now cross map, since the links kind of met here in the middle. And they presumably both know that they've gone for mirror builds, because, of course, the links met each other at the exact same time. And the only way that'd be possible is, of course, if they were both going for 9 pool. So now the question is, where can the players actually sneak out extra drones and things? Because this is where it gets interesting. Because look at this. You see, Pike has actually made another drone, whereas eOnzErG made some links. So this is now a drone. And this is now an Overlord, so I think Pike now has 1 more drone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, indeed. So Pike has actually managed to sneak out an extra drone, and of course, we can see that there's no Ling attack coming. So we know that Pike has gotten away with that quite safely. eOnzErG is now trying to catch up on drones. Whereas Pike's actually making lings. So actually, with this extra set of lings versus this 1 drone, I think the numbers will even up here. But of course, Pike did have that drone mining for just a touch longer, maybe got, I don't know, 25 more minerals or something, which doesn't seem like a lot. But, you know, when you're going 9 pool versus 9 pool in a ZVZ, that 25 minerals can actually be a huge deal here because, you know, you're just so low eco anyway. But I think it's probably more going to come down to micro and maybe some kind of cooling backstabs that'll decide this game rather than that 25 minerals. Meanwhile, both players, as you can see, still building drones. Of course, being defensive with your lings at the top of the ramp like this means you can get away with having slightly fewer lings than your opponent if he does decide to attack. And of course, the Overlords were kind of poking around on the map to give a slightly advanced warning if that were coming. But I think both of them probably figured that the other was just going to go for the Spire and go for Mutalisk, because it doesn't really make sense to ling all in off a 9 pool when your opponent also went for a 9 pool, because you don't have the extra hatch for extra larvae and whatnot. Anyway, Spire looks like slightly ahead for eOnzErG. Of course, his lair was slightly ahead as well. We do have the second hatch, though, for Pike in his main base, whereas the second hatchery for eOnzErG is at his natural. Now, that's going to give eOnzErG a huge advantage once he takes that second gas. So both players are going to have the second hatchery, and Pike can actually see this now, so he knows he has to do something about this. Probably going to have to try and win the game before that second gas really kicks in. You can see he's now being aggressive with his lings. I don't think he actually has enough lings to really do too much about this. Interestingly, it looks like eOnzErG canceled his Ling speed, whereas Pike didn't, so eOnzErG actually still has slow Lings. I'm sorry, I actually missed that. That probably explains why his Spire was slightly ahead, but it looks like eOnzErG does have the weight of numbers here, and his mutas do pop out, so Pike's attack is going to get thwarted here. It wasn't really the best timing for him. I'm a little surprised he did that, considering, you know, he should have known the Spire timing. Maybe he actually was kind of timing his Ling retreat based on his own Spire timing and didn't realize that eOnzErG canceled his Ling speed, which allowed him to get a slightly faster Spire there, so he kind of mistimed that. I think his Lings should have ran away a touch faster there. But it looks like he's going to save his Overlord here and running away. Interestingly, I think that's only 2 mutas. Okay, now a third joining against the 3 mutas here. A 4th muta now for eOnzErG. So Pike's got to be slightly careful here. eOnzErG can actually engage. I'm not sure he realizes this. He probably assumes that they would have equal numbers of mutas, but he might. I think he's actually going to get this Overlord. Yeah, he does actually get the Overlord, and that is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, his own Lings have actually charged into the main base, but unfortunately, without Ling speed, he's actually not able to run in here and kill any of the drones. Sorry, I missed when they actually got in here. Presumably, they just killed maybe a couple of spare Lings on the ramp or something and just ran up, but wasn't quite paying attention to them, and without that speed wasn't able to do any actual damage there. But the crucial thing is that the mutas killed the Overlord, and obviously since they were going for the same builds here, that's an extra 100 minerals in addition to you know, the extra 25 minerals or whatever I talked about earlier. So you know, these small little things add up to big advantages over time in a ZVZ. So eOnzErG, I'd say, definitely looking in a good position right now, especially now that he is mining the second gas. This of course is probably the most crucial difference in the builds at the moment. So he's got these 2 extra guys on gas. Doesn't actually have a 3rd guy there because he doesn't have enough on minerals as it is. So doesn't want to, I guess, overmine the gas. But he's in pretty good shape here. And Pike, I think, really has to make something happen very, very soon here, or else he's just going to get outgassed basically. And gas, of course, is the crucial resource here, since they're both, you know, focusing very heavily on mutas and Scourge, which are very gas intensive here. Don't really need too many minerals. You know, if you do have too much gas compared to minerals, I mean, you can see eOnzErG is kind of favoring the gas a little bit in his bank. You can't just make a lot of Scourge. The Scourge are 25 minerals, 75 gas apiece, and then that will basically kind of balance it out, and the Scourge can be very useful in the big engagements. And looks like the Muta's going to come in here, try and snipe a drone here, but looks like, oh man, he went in a little bit too far. He's just kind of forced into an engagement here. A lot of Scourge hitting there. I'm not sure who has more Mutas. Presumably eOnzErG does, and it looks like this is just going to be the one engagement to decide the game, but actually eOnzErG somehow is slightly behind in the supply. It's very, very close, 29 to 28. It looks like eOnzErG, though, does have the Muta advantage. 4 Mutas against 2, but look at this. Pike very, very smartly sending in 4 Zerglings as well. They are Speedlings for him, so he's going to distract the Mutas, allow his 2 Mutas to get away safely, and perhaps kill a drone or 2 here. It looks like he gets 1 drone, and will he get a second? I think yeah, that looks like a drone carcass there, so it looks like he did also get 2 drones, but oh man, he's not paying attention. He's gonna lose some mutas here. I don't know what that muta was even doing there in the middle of the map. That was really, really weird, but losing a free muta to the Scourge, he really needs to keep all those mutas alive. His gas, he's only mining on 1 gas, so his gas is so much more precious than eOnzErG, who does have a second gas. Looks like Pike trying to get in another couple of Zerglings here, but doesn't work out. Pike actually now just trying to just go with the pure Zerglings, and oh man, he's got Scourge all over his larva here. He should just cancel the mutas. They're not gonna live. Oh man, I don't think he can actually make the mutas here. Okay, he's bringing back a couple of mutas to try and rescue the mutas that are gonna spawn from the eggs, but oh no, messing up the micro a little bit there, and losing 2 more mutas. Very, very surprising. I wonder if he was microing something in the front here or something, and no, it looks like the Lings are just kind of chilling in the middle of the map. Definitely a mistake there. I don't think he should have lost those 2 mutas to those Scourge here. Definitely should have been able to patrol micro them down, so a bit of a mistake from Pike, and his position is just getting worse and worse in this game. Interestingly enough, the supplies are actually fairly close, 32 against 33, but eOnzErG's Air Force is definitely superior here. Pike's extra supply is primarily in Zerglings, but look at this. Pike splitting up his forces, Lings going to the top, Muta's going in the bottom, but once again, not paying attention, losing 1 Mutalisk instantly. Gonna go in with the Zerglings on the side though, but look at this. eOnzErG wise to it, gonna pull his Mutas back. He's got a few Lings of his own to help block, and it looks like Pike once again is gonna be thwarted here. Pike making no move towards his natural expansion. I think he's just gonna try and do a huge all-in attack with these Lings and whatever Mutas he has, but I doubt it's gonna be enough here. Just, oh man, he's running in with the Lings. I don't even know what happened to his Mutas. Does his Muta die? I really don't know where they went now, but Pike is just going to GG out, and eOnzErG takes game number 1 very convincingly there. Wow. Alright, so a quick and dirty ZVZ to start off the day. Man, eOnzErG, he is crazy good. I mean, it was mirror builds for so long there. I think the first deviation was just the cancelled Ling speed from eOnzErG, and it looked like after that it was you know, just kind of cascaded into this this unwinnable situation for Pike. I think also that decision to build the second hatchery in his main was perhaps slightly questionable, but I mean, what do I know? I'm terrible as EVZ. Oh man. Anyway, SpongeBob, how did you like that game? I mean, that was your first proper Broodor commentary. How does it feel, man?
You know, if I were to die right now in some sort of fiery explosion due to the carelessness of a friend, well, that'd just be okay.
I'm glad, SpongeBob. I'm glad that was one more thing to do before you died, and you've now ticked that off. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Unfortunately, though, SpongeBob, I'm very sad to say that it is now time for us to part ways. I'm gonna have to kick you off the cast.
What? Why?
Well, it seems that the TLS admins actually ran out of esports dollars. Yeah, the budgeting didn't quite work out, so we could only pay you for this one game, unfortunately. And that means you're, I guess, gonna have to go back to Bikini Bottom and do whatever you do there, flip burgers. Not quite as glamorous as TLS casting, but hey, do what you gotta do, man. I'll see you later, SpongeBob.
I guess I'll see you later.
Alright, cool. So, that was SpongeBob. Everybody give a round of applause for SpongeBob. He was pretty awesome. And now he gets replaced by a not as awesome logo thing. I mean it's awesome because it's sponsors, but you know. So, yeah, we're gonna take a quick break now, and after the break, we're gonna come back for the second match of the group. It is going to be DeWalt versus Vodtoast, aka Voddy, a PVZ. Don't go anywhere.